Good morning or afternoon, Manhattan, and welcome back to another episode of the SGA Weekly Update on Wildcat 91.9. You belong. It's your hostess with the mostest, Jimmy Kaufman, coming at you live on this beautiful Wednesday. Sunny weather, good vibes, and good times. I'm here with another wacky host of characters, if you will, from the Student Governing Association to bring you another weekly update, learn a little bit more about SGA and how it can be of service to you. Today we have a legislative advocate, Lucy Roy, as well as the External Affairs Director, Matt Hendricks. Good afternoon to you both.
Good afternoon. Thanks for having us.
Of course. Thank you for coming. How are we doing? How are we feeling?
We're feeling awesome today.
I'm so excited to do this.
Good day. Oh, you're really excited?
Oh, yeah.
Good. Well, I'm excited to have you guys here. I love talking student governing, all right? I like getting legislative.
Right,
you know what I mean?
right.
Put
the legislative hat on, you know?
Oh, of course. You got to put the legislation hat on. We're going to be writing bills today. That's going to be that's going to be our number one thing.
Live from the Capitol, you know?
Oh, yeah. On this beautiful Wednesday, what's better than, just breaking down legislation, right? Now, one of the things I love doing at SGA with SGA members is just learning a little bit more about how they contribute to the overall part of basically kind of governing a mini city, at least that's how I kind of view it of sorts. But I want to go ahead and get into it. Matt, let's go ahead and start with you, man. The External Affairs Director, that's three pretty big words.
It sounds very important.
I know, right? So go ahead and break down, what does that mean?
Yeah, so as the External Affairs Director, I'm a member of the Student Body President's Cabinet, so President Brady Kalman and Vice President Putin's Cabinet.
Who we have had on the show. They are great people.
Yes,
they are awesome.
They're so awesome. And so really my role as the External Affairs Director is to represent K-State student opinions to external sources within the Manhattan community. And so I meet with Manhattan Chamber of Commerce, Real Estate Directory, city commissioners for multiple meetings, and I promote student voices and recite my opinion and students' opinions on general topics in the Manhattan area. So
what may some of those topics entail? Like, what are some things that you usually are talking about?
Honestly, it's a lot of just like how we can bridge the gap between K-State and the Manhattan community. Fun fact, we're like ranked number 1 in town gown relationships, so town Manhattan gown K-State relationships.
We get down on points just as much as we do Aggieville.
Oh yeah. And
so true.
It's my job to facilitate that relationship with businesses, boards, directors, all that type of stuff. And yeah, I am currently planning a City Commission and SGA crossover event where we'll have City Commissioners and SGA students all together in a room, and we can ask questions and just discuss the future of Manhattan and K-State as a partner. So
when you look at that partnership, what do you think are some of the biggest pros to having such a good town and gown relationship?
Really, like living here in Manhattan, we already have such a close-knit feel with K-State and our K-State community, but Manhattan is the exact same way on their side. And so the ability to bring those two communities together is like really awesome and has been super like important to me because I have family that lives here in Manhattan. And so ultimately building that relationship is super cool, and both parties have an opportunity to gain from each other. So yeah, I really enjoyed my role. So
yeah, 100% External Affairs Director, keeping the town in gown.
Yep.
Good and strong. Good and strong. Lucy, let's turn over to you. Legislative advocate. Give me a little bit of an idea of what that could mean in the wider SGA.
Sure. Well, legislative advocates is like a program inside of SGA. I don't have a title or like a role outside of being a legislative advocate.
I think that's a pretty big role.
Okay, sure.
I like the legislative advocate.
It feels pretty official, you know. It sounds official, but it was pretty much that team is like organized so that to prepare us to go to the Capitol, which we just went to last week, and so that is like the main goal of what legislative advocates is learning about higher ed policies and what Kansas needs as a whole for universities, and then being able to go to the Capitol. And so it's not a huge part of SGA, but it is like a sector of it, and it makes for an awesome day at the Capitol.
Yeah. So you went to the Capitol last week?
Yes. Yep.
Very cool.
A week ago.
So what did that process look like?
Yeah.
Or what did that experience look like?
Yeah. Well, we had probably like, what was it, three planning meetings once we all were like a part of the team, which happened in the fall. And then we met just to kind of meet each other, talk about what we're even doing as a group. And then the meeting closest to when we actually went to the Capitol was when we were talking about, okay, here's the 3 priorities that we're going to bring to these legislators when we go to the Capitol. And the goal was to meet with these legislators and talk to them about these policies that we're hoping to maintain within universities when it comes to money and things that they're doing to support universities. And so our goal was talking to them, trying to maintain those. And so we had these like meetings with legislators. And so the like pre-Capitol meetings were to prepare us for that day and like, what do we say? What are we talking about? That kind of thing. But
are you allowed to kind of expound on what maybe some of those policies might be that you're presenting to legislators?
Yeah. So it also is not just a Kansas State. We went on it was called Higher Ed Day. So there was other universities. Emporia State was there. KU was
Stingers
there.
Up? Okay.
Yep.
I won't
Who
comment
else
on
was
that
there?
last one.
KU was there. Washburn was there.
Yep.
Wichita State?
Wichita State
Yes,
was
There we
yes.
go. Good. Go Shockers.
Yes.
I feel like that was maybe
I think
that was all of them.
Yes.
Maybe. And so what's the role? The government relations Lauren's
Yes,
role.
Lauren Wolter is the government relations director, and so part of her job was planning this
Yes.
with the other universities
Yes.
and talking about what we were advocating for that day, and specifically more funding that we wanted to retain, not necessarily different bills, but funding that Kansas border regions needed to maintain. So.
Right. So essentially, you're kind of providing the why behind where the funds go to
Yes.
and how
Right.
it affects K-State
Right.
students.
Exactly.
And what it's been doing to benefit our students and why it's important that we have it and
Of course.
things like that.
No, and that's very important, guys. Hey, listen, I know it's hard to believe, but this is such a big campus. Somehow every university, no matter how big they are, is somehow still kind of broke. So, it happens,
sure.
right? It
Yep.
happens. So, when you go to those things and you meet these legislators, do you ever get like, how would I describe this? A little bit starstruck? Or kind of like, whoa, they're kind of in the big time, like, whoa.
Yeah. I mean, I will say for me at least, that was my first time like seeing how things at the Capitol run. And like, since I'm not a part of SGA or a part of government things, it was a very like unfamiliar territory. So I was like, what the heck is going on? And the meetings, like just the pace of the way that they work was crazy. Cause like we'd go in and we'd have, 10 minutes to talk to these people, 15 minutes. And then it was like their desk assistant would come in and be like, all right, they have another meeting. And so it's just like
Whoa.
immediately like you have your little minute to go in there to advocate for what you want to. And then like you're out, And so it was kind of crazy, like just seeing how fast paced like their jobs are.
Jeez.
Yeah, and it was just a world I'm very unfamiliar with, but it was really cool to step into for the day. But
Sometimes it's complicated to do one interview. I cannot imagine constantly being like, so they got another thing they got to do. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, oh boy.
right.
And the reason
right.
I ask, sometimes as a sports broadcaster, right, you interview maybe some players or, coming up later today, there will be an interview I did with a couple of the K-State baseball players, Dante Lewis and James Guyette. But even in those moments, right, you meet those student athletes or
Yeah.
coaches or pro athletes. And even as a sports reporter, I'm always kind of like, whoa.
Yeah.
Like there's
yeah.
an aura. Like when
Yeah.
I was when I worked
Right.
at a bowling alley in Olathe, shout out main event. I
Been there, done that.
I once helped Chris Jones. And you see these.
That's awesome.
It's hard not to be like, that's Chris Jones.
Right,
you know what I
right,
mean?
right.
So
Yes.
I was curious if that carried over
Yeah, yeah.
legislatively.
Yes, I would
Yes.
say a little bit, but also at the end of the day, it's like they're regular human beings like
Right, of
us,
course.
and so I feel like once you stepped into those, like they just honestly wanted to chat with us, and so many of them were K-State grads, which is why we were paired with them, and so they were all like, "Hey, let's just come and chat," Like
Yeah.
it was more low key, I think, than I was expecting.
And once you're in those meetings and you've been talking for a while and you realize they are a real person and then they're asking you questions about your experience and stuff, it's really easy to have those discussions and the starstruck goes away. So
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
and that's fair. I guess, I'm not really sitting down talking with Chris Jones. But
Sure.
if Chris Jones would like to come on SGA Weekly Update, I'm sure we can get that
Yeah,
figured
yeah.
out, right?
Yeah.
I think he would fit
Slight flex.
perfectly, right over here maybe.
Probably.
Anyways, bringing it back around, what was one of the biggest things that you learn when you see the process going on out in Topeka that then carries over back to SGA? Something you can learn from that. Big thinker here. This is a thinker.
I think regarding the entire process, I think how they run and how they do their bills and the whole legislative process in Topeka is very similar to how we do it here. And I know that's not the case for some other student governing associations. So me, whereas I've been a little more involved with it, that was also cool because I have not had much state legislative experience. And so being able to see that why we do things here back at K-State, and it makes sense a lot more because of that. So
That's cool. That's
yeah.
cool. And I would just say even like the process is fascinating of like we can talk to one individual, but like to actually have anything happen, like, I mean, it has to go through who knows how many people, 1 million people, you know, in all these meetings. And so it's crazy to see like there's so many different moving parts to make something like SGA work and make something like making their bills happen at the Capitol. Like there's just a lot of moving parts. And so it was fascinating to see like just how they make decisions. And yeah.
It is kind of like watching and like looking at a car engine, you know what I mean? Because it's like, whoa,
Yeah.
you know, all these
Right.
pistons.
Sure.
Whoa.
What do we do with all these?
Oh, that's why I gotta get my oil changed. Okay, I get it
Right.
now. No, that's a really cool experience, and it's cool that
Yeah.
you got to be an advocate for that and work
Yeah.
on that. Is there anything that past Topeka that you're still working on in that field, or like what is, now that I guess that hill has been topped, if you will, what comes next?
Yeah.
For legislative advocate.
Yeah.
There's not much left actually for legislative advocates. I think we'll have a few meetings to discuss how it went, how it could be better. Like I said, having students there, the legislators want to see the students. They love interacting with students, and so it's really important that that day goes smoothly, especially with timeliness of they were actually voting on a lot of education budgets and bills when we were there. And so, I think just trying to figure out how we can make it better in the future.
Yeah. And also, we can't really control much after that day of once we go and we talk to these people, like it's kind of out of our hands. Our job was to go in there, tell them, here's what's going on at K-State, here's what's going well, here's what we appreciate about what you guys are doing, here's what we'd like to see, yada, yada, yada. But then like once we leave, it's like that's in their hands to now decide what they want to do with what we gave them. And so, I mean, there's only so much I feel like after we meet with them, because that was our whole goal, is to go and have those conversations with them and share what's going on at K-State, and then the rest is kind of, in their hands.
Right. It's like football. You throw the ball, now you're just like, they got to catch it.
I was like, someone out there, come on.
Right. Sports broadcaster, always bringing it back to sports. No, but and that's a very cool experience. You said that there were other universities there. Do you ever see or get to kind of compare and contrast with what maybe Washburn or Wichita State are doing with their SGA operations?
Not necessarily through the legislative advocate experience. We don't really get that, that bridged gap. But I think being there, I was able to interact with some other students and how their experience is related, because we're all advocating for the same funding.
Yeah, the same three policies that we discussed.
And the same three priorities outlined. And so it is cool seeing not only just my take on it, but even other people in K-State's experiences with these different funds that we are advocating for. And then ultimately it was really cool to see the other universities too, because we're all so different in how we operate.
Good time for networking, I imagine.
Networking, yes. Everything's always networking.
Of course.
Love networking.
Anything
of course.
can be networking.
Hey, go add me on LinkedIn, Jimmy Coffin.
Right. Exactly.
You might see a big old open to work right over my headshot.
That's awesome. And I would assume that Lauren, who was head of the program, is in contact with the other people from the other universities, because she was the one that originally established the priorities with them. So I assume she's discussing with them of what did you guys take away from this and whatnot. So I don't know if that's something that as a group we necessarily do besides the day of, it's like, hey, Emporia, hey, Washington, just say it hi.
That'd just be a good time to, I always love, with Wildcat 91.9, we go to a thing every April called the Kansas Association of Broadcasters. It's an award ceremony done in Arrowhead Stadium.
Oh, cool.
Wow.
It's great. And, every school, every high school from like the area, from Kansas goes, and ironically, they do it in Missouri. But they go to this thing.
What's
and
Missouri,
Right? I know, right? Literally. But it's always good, you might meet a guy on the road somewhere working a game, and then you're like, oh, what's up, man? You get to just compare and contrast. Nothing like comparing notes, right? It's how you pass. It's how you pass.
Very true. Very true.
Bringing it back though to campus affairs from the external affairs director. I want to know, what are maybe some things that right now you're working towards besides the city commission event that's coming up?
Currently we are within SGA. We're in election season, and so people can file for student senator elections, student vice president elections. So that's kind of a large focus of SGA as of right now. Also, we are preparing for the eventual transition of our the next people that are going to be in our roles. And so I've been serving as External Affairs Director for almost a year now, and it's awesome to see the progress that we've done. But yeah, I'm excited for the next people, and that's kind of what we're preparing for.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
And I guess, what does that preparation look like right now?
I think it's just a lot of reflecting on the year and
Seeing what worked.
seeing
maybe-
what worked, what didn't work, what initiatives are still ongoing, because as we know, it takes a long time for this stuff to happen. And so preparing that transition, I think we have a really good framework, and honestly just reaching out to people that you know will be good in these positions is really, really important. But yeah, that's kind of what's going on in SGA right now. But
100%. I know the fall is a lot of constantly working out problems, getting ready for things. Just the spring, is that kind of the flow to maybe the fall's ebb when it comes to
yes,
dynamics?
Very much so, very much so. I feel like the fall is very much we got to get this done and this done and this done, and then once you've worked so hard for so long, you just kind of get to see that project pass through, and it's awesome and it's great. But yeah, everything comes to an end eventually. So,
Yeah. Always good stuff. And hey, he said it. Anyone can run for student body president.
Anyone.
It's true.
I might put my name on the ballot.
You should.
I'm
Senior
kidding.
year, why not?
I mean, why not? Let's see how
right
many.
before you graduate.
Let's see. My campaign would be nuts. If I could run a campaign, I'd probably throw some sort of like bash within reason, of course. I'm not throwing anything crazy.
Yeah.
I'm not doing Project X. I'm more of like, we'll put it in Wareham Hall on points, and we'll I don't know, we'll get some performers or something. You know what
Okay.
I mean? And maybe have balloons or a ball pit.
Sure.
And then it's like all I
Have a
need your
good
vote,
time.
right?
Yep.
When is that vote for student body president?
Yeah, so voting will open February 24th and 25th. It'll open February 24th at 8 a.m.
Oh, it's early.
close February 25th, I believe, at 6 p.m. And then the winners and everything will be announced February 26th at 6 p.m. So that Thursday.
Boom.
Yeah.
You heard it here first. 24th through the 26th is going to be the big time. Make sure you get out and vote.
Yep,
All right. It's
yep.
very important to vote.
Yeah.
Because, SGA, as we cover a lot, can really change how things work on campus. And if you're talking to the External Affairs Director, it may change how things work with the town and with Manhattan and how those things may come together. On that front, Matt, if there's anything that a student wants to come and talk about when it comes to things happening outside of campus, how can maybe you help them or SGA help them out?
Yeah, so we actually have a campus outreach director, and so her name is Kylie Temple. I don't know if
I believe she was on the first episode of the
Okay,
SGA Weekly update
awesome,
last
awesome.
year. Shout out Kylie.
She
And so,
is the
yeah,
best.
But you can find any of our information on the SGA website. You can email us. We would love to sit down and meet with you. That's part of our jobs. We have jobs pertaining to all areas of campus. And so, yeah, send us an email. We can sit down, have a chat. We can discuss what it looks like, and then we can ultimately take that on to administration because that's our job. So, yeah.
And when is officially the town and gown sit down? You can steal that if you'd like. With the city commission.
I actually really, really like that. I'm definitely
keep
gonna
it.
use that. I'm gonna
We're keeping
use
it.
That. I'm gonna use that. I'm not. We haven't set a date 100% yet.
Okay.
City commissioners are very, very busy people, and as is the mayor of Manhattan. And so we're looking tentatively at March 5th at 6 p.m. So
Okay.
Tentatively.
Deal. Well,
TBD.
March 5th, you said?
Yes.
Potentially March 5th at 6 p.m. It could be a good time to ask questions, learn a little bit more, and maybe contribute to making this town and this university just a little bit better.
Oh yeah.
It's already pretty good.
Come on,
I
it's
have
already
to say.
great. It's
I
already
have to
great.
say.
But
Can always be better.
Exactly. Everything can always improve. We're
Yep.
always striving and going up. You know what I mean? What ASAP Rocky, always striving and prosper, right?
Exactly.
Shout out. We're hanging out with Lucy Roy, Matt Hendricks here on the SGA Weekly Update. Coming up, we are going to be talking a little bit more about the people behind the process. Just a little bit more how you came into SGA, what you love about SGA, how you came to K-State, what you love about K-State, and more. All of that is coming up on the SGA Weekly Update here on Wildcat 91.9. You belong.
K-State students, are you ready to take control of your finances? Meet with a PowerCat financial counselor today. Whether you need help crafting a budget, understanding credit, or comparing job offers, we've got you covered. We're available Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Visit us at the K-State Student Union, Hale Library, Cats Cupboard, if you're a vet med student at Trotter Hall, or Veneer for student athletes. Set up your appointment on Navigate or email finplan@ksu.edu with any questions. PowerCat Financial, your partner in financial success.
This basketball season, Wildcat 91.9 invites you to experience the action of Tanner's Bar and Grill in the Ville. Savor Manhattan's favorite dishes from the full menu served fresh day and night. And with Tanner's Kitchen open until 10 p.m., there's no shot clock, so you'll have plenty of time to enjoy every bite, whether it's halftime or overtime. Learn more at tannersbarandgrill.com. Once again, that's tannersbarandgrill.com. And thank you to Tanner's for supporting the next generation of K-State media stars on Wildcat 91.9. You belong.
Village Geek hosts weekly events for 8 different card games, including fan favorites like Magic the Gathering and Pokemon, plus Star Wars Unlimited, Riftbound, One Piece, and more. If it shuffles, taps, or draws cards, chances are it's happening at Village Geek. Pair that with late-night Dearborn coffee to fuel the fun. Learn more at villagegeekgames.com. That's villagegeekgames.com. And thank you to Village Geek for supporting the next generation of K-State media superstars on Wildcat 91.9. You belong.
Ready to spark your curiosity and explore arts and culture? The Mariana Kistler Beach Museum of Art at Kansas State University offers vibrant exhibitions, fun events, and programs. The museum provides amazing guided tours showing breathtaking art in memorable galleries. From welcoming preschoolers to seniors, this cultural hub is recognized for its dedication to providing a deep exploration of Kansas art and history. Whether you're part of the K-State community or visiting Manhattan, there's something for everyone. Best of all, admission and parking are free. Learn more about the Beach Museum of Art at beach.k-state.edu. And thank you, Mariana Kistler Beach Museum of Art, for supporting the future of the next generation of media superstars here at Wildcat 91.9. You belong.
Wildcat fans, for too long, the powers that be have given you sports media that you do not deserve. Terrible takes, sports realignment, and pointless bickering have tried to ruin the sports world that we love. But through that noise, there is hope, an answer. There is the propaganda.
Wednesdays from 6 to 7, join Jimmy Kaufman, Adam Arthur, and Nate Lowen as they tell the truth about sports, stats, and storylines around the college world. Only on Wildcat 91.9, where you belong.
Sports fans, your listening ears just found a new home on Thursdays. Join me, Nate Lowen, for The Dub, your 1-hour sports talk show where hot takes, bold predictions, and real conversations happen. From the biggest games to the week's wildest headlines, I'll bring you the energy you need. Don't miss The Dub every Thursday from 6 to 7 p.m. Only on Wildcat 91.9, where you belong.
We're having fun on the SGA Weekly Update on Wildcat 91.9. You belong. Jimmy Kaufman here. Jimmy Kaufman's the name, Yappin is the game, and I'm joined by the legislative advocate Lucy Roy and the external affairs director Matt Hendricks. First segment under our belt. How are we feeling? We feeling good?
I'm feeling good. This has been great.
Good time,
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
fantastic.
It's been good weather out recently.
Yep.
Been
Wow.
maybe able
So
to,
nice.
you know, I had to wake up early this morning. I don't know if anyone isn't aware, it is Kansas Wildfire Awareness Week, and the only reason I
Didn't
know
know
this,
this.
Did not.
only reason I know this is because I am a reporter for Channel 8, and I'm doing a story about it. But you know what?
Sure.
Make sure that you keep the chains for your truck up off the ground. You never know when you can start a wildfire.
Okay.
Apparently,
Okay.
Kansas is like bit like top of the list when it comes to wildfire.
Really?
So
I believe that.
you know,
believe
they talk about these controlled burns. It can get uncontrolled real quickly, is what I'm hearing out.
sure.
You know,
Yeah.
out in the plains or whatnot. But we're not here for that. We're here for some student governing association. No
Totally.
wildfires in the studio.
No, none.
No, we're good here.
None
I made
yet.
sure to check all the studios.
Okay,
We're fine.
perfect,
We're fine. We're good
perfect.
around. Anywho, moving on. We got down to brass tacks. first segment, right? We always got to see what's going on right now in SGA, what you guys are doing, how it works, all that stuff. We know you can help us. We're ready for the town and gown. Sit down with the city commission. I'm making sure that gets on the banner. But I want to learn a little bit more about who's behind it, right? So, Matt, let's go ahead and get started with you, man. You're wearing a K-State quarter zip.
I am.
How did you come to sit in this chair and be a Wildcat today? What was it about K-State that you chose?
Yeah, I'm a 4th generation K-State student.
Come on!
So I bleed
Big
purple.
stuff.
Let's go. You're getting a. There you go.
Let's
Let's
go.
go.
Let's go.
Oh yeah,
Awesome.
fourth
Awesome.
generation.
Yeah, we got a soundboard here.
So I have a saying. My family is K-State, and K-State is my family. Grew up since I was.
Hold on. That's tough.
Dropped a bar.
And so yeah, I've grown up my entire life being a K-State fan. But yeah, coming to games since I was as little as I can remember and everything. So
I'm a 3rd generation cat, and my
Awesome.
grandfather
That's
worked at the university until the year I was born. Actually, I don't know. I guess he was like at that point. He's like, okay, I'm done.
Yeah.
that's awesome.
But yeah, so I know that feeling.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
coming to K-State games a lot. I spent every summer in Manhattan growing up.
Oh,
So
Yeah.
Sweet.
it was basically like K-State or nothing.
K-State
Yeah,
or nothing.
yeah.
K-State or nothing. So.
What's the best game you ever went to as a kid?
Ooh,
That's
a
a
good
good
That is a
question.
good
Okay.
question.
So
Might be a new one for you.
for my 10th birthday, I was a huge K-State basketball fan
Okay.
during Dean Wade's first season.
Yes.
Dean Wade was my favorite basketball player of all time. for a
Cleveland
while.
Cavaliers legend
He's
Dean Wade.
awesome, 6 man. Yeah. And so for my 10th birthday, I asked to go to a K-State game, and we went to a K-State basketball game. I believe it was against West Virginia, and I had a poster, and I said, all I want for my 10th birthday is a Dean Wade autograph. And I had this was before NIL, and so you couldn't make jerseys, but I had my own K-State 32 jersey and everything. And so yeah, and I ended up meeting his sister, both of his parents, and went out to dinner with him and his family
No
alongside
way.
my family. And
Big deal
so
over here.
yeah, there was a bunch of connections that I didn't know about until right then. But yeah, it was so awesome and they beat West Virginia. So
Hey,
it
that's
was
all
super cool.
That's the big
experience.
one.
That's
Did they
awesome.
get the win?
But,
Tell them about your picture with new head coach.
oh,
CK?
yes.
You got a picture with CK?
Yep. And so there's also a picture.
More big deal. more big
One
deal.
time when I was probably I was younger than 10, but Bill Snyder and Colin Klein, they went on a tour, the Catbacker tour. And my family and I went to one in Colby, Kansas, and there's a picture of me super little, probably 6 years old, with Colin Klein. And
No
so,
way.
Yeah.
I actually,
That's an awesome picture.
I was at the game that K-State beat Texas and won the Big 12 back then in
Oh.
2012.
Yeah,
We
that
were
is
just too
awesome.
young, or else I
Yeah.
would have been there without a doubt.
I was very young. My dad, we rushed the field with everyone, and my dad lost me for about 8 seconds, and he was like, "My
That's
child is gone
awesome.
forever," because kidnapping's rampant in Manhattan, Kansas.
Super.
But then he found me. I was just doing snow angels in the end
Wow.
zone. But
That's
so
awesome.
but I actually. My dad is a big sports memorabilia guy. We have, he's got a Darren Sproles jersey in the basement, all that stuff. For my birthday, I got a Bill Snyder ball
Yeah.
with a little
That's
note that was
cool.
Happy B-Day.
That's awesome.
Shout out
That's
Bill, love Bill. Coach Snyder. And we went to, Colin Klein was doing some sort of signing thing in the Kansas City area. And we went, and I was like a kid. I just loved Colin Klein. And I knew nothing about how pro football works or anything. I just liked watching it. So I just yelled out, Colin Klein's the best football player in the world. I still believe that, actually. Nothing's
That's
ever stopped that
awesome.
belief.
Yeah.
And I think he heard me. I hope he heard me.
Definitely.
But
He
if you're
remembers
hear-
that, I'm
if
sure.
if you're hearing this, Coach,
Yep.
we
yep.
still believe that. But now you're the best coach in
There
the
you
world.
go.
Yeah,
There you go.
yeah.
Lucy, what about you? We've been talking about K-State history and whatnot.
Yeah.
What was your kind of experience coming to K-State?
Yeah. My family actually grew up north. We lived in Minnesota and Wisconsin. I
Ooh.
moved here in Kansas when I was 6. So I've been here for most of my life. But
Okay.
my family, big Packers fan.
I was about to ask that question.
Yeah,
Are you a big Packers fan?
You
or-
know, I've gone into the Chiefs world, and
Come on.
everyone calls me a
Ugh.
bandwagon, and I argue against that because it's where I live. Of course, I'm going to support the Chiefs, and I supported them when I moved here, so I'm not a bandwagon.
This is a thing, okay? Because I find myself really getting into regional sports. When I travel somewhere and I see the fanfare, like my best friend's diehard Vikings fan. Sorry, I took him to his first Vikings game. He had never been to Minnesota. His family just loves the Vikings.
Terrible team to love.
You know what? I kind of like them too. So we're
okay.
Okay. No, but we go to U.S. Bank and all that. And it was my first time in Minnesota, and we're having a great time. And I kind of had that moment where I'm like, I think I just love camaraderie. You know what I mean? Like,
sure.
Right?
Yeah.
And that's what's great about SGA, right? Is there's just camaraderie.
Exactly.
But that's the thing, like, that's why I love school spirit.
Yeah.
I am spirited about my school.
Yeah. As you should be.
But I get the regional thing of growing into the Chiefs, because you've been here for
over half my life.
Exactly.
Like I've been here way more than I haven't been.
Like,
so.
you're 2/3 of your life.
Right, and I have a terrible memory. I don't remember even much from Wisconsin to begin with.
Are we kidding? I've heard it's great up there. Probably pretty cold, but
it's cold. Yeah.
Have you? So you came to Kansas.
Yes.
What was the college selection like?
Yeah. So I have two older sisters, and they both attended K-State. Once my oldest sister started coming here, we were like, oh, now, we love K-State, and we're learning Manhattan, and so I'd go and visit. I'd spend weekends with both of my sisters when they were in college, and just hanging out with them over the weekends and seeing Manhattan. So when it came time to decide where I was going to go, I was thinking, like, okay, where should I go to, or where should I visit, and I was like, I don't need to go anywhere. Like, I know I want to go to K-State. I can tell that I will fit in here. I know that this is like an awesome place. I've heard nothing but great things from my sisters. They both had amazing experience at K-State, and so I was like, well, that's kind of all I need to know. Like, it's a great place, and I know I would love it here, and so I didn't really look much further and never toured or never visited anywhere else, and so happy that I didn't, because I can't imagine anywhere else.
That makes it pretty. So you didn't tour anywhere else?
No.
Wow.
Nowhere.
You know what? Make it easy, because I grew up house divided. Mom was KU, dad's K-State. So I toured both with their respective alma maters, right? And me and my dad went to K-State first. It was awesome. It was great. I had cousins. I would come up and visit. I'd go hang out with my cousins. I had my first ever varsity truck donut with my cousins. That was pretty cool.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And I was pretty young.
We
weren't. I was only like 13, but they were just kind of hungry and studying.
Sure.
Right. It was but like, then I went with my dad. I'm like, oh, this is like a school too. That's cool. I
not
like
just
it.
donuts.
Oh, it's not just football, donuts, and like
Right.
and like shopping or something.
Yeah.
And then I went with my mom to KU, and I like Lawrence. I think KU's a cool campus. It took one hill walk. That was all it took.
Yeah.
That was all it
It's
took.
bad.
It gets
there.
wicked out there, because we went on a windy, cold fall day, and it's one of those. It was like, you ever seen the SpongeBob episode with the pizza where they're trying to deliver the pizza?
Not a SpongeBob.
Whoa!
I was one of those kids that weren't allowed to watch SpongeBob as a kid.
Neither was I.
I know that
So-
there's one or the other, and I wasn't allowed to. So
Yeah.
do with that what you. I'm sorry.
Wow.
Sorry.
Yeah, never mind. Wow.
That's all you need to know about me, really.
See,
It's
I
like-
grew up with I had a DVD of like the first 3 seasons of SpongeBob that I fall asleep to. So
Sometimes I'm jealous
lullaby,
of kids who were able to watch SpongeBob. They're just funnier.
it's
maybe.
it's
so.
not too late.
Yeah, we have bad
It's-
humor now.
No, it's not true. It's never
Weren't
too
raised
late
right.
either. It's never too late.
Mm.
SpongeBob is a
sure.
universal. Okay, he's just
Sure.
a sponge, and he has a friend who's a star, and he flips burgers, and there's nothing wrong with it. So
I'm not sure I've ever watched a full episode start to finish.
Really?
I'll be honest.
if I were to
I need to.
recommend, because I think it's good for legislation.
Yeah,
when,
uh-huh.
when you
Yeah.
know.
A lot
of
you
comparison.
you can
good
really
ideas.
you can grow a lot. We actually
Yeah.
I'm in a class. Shout out to Dr. Morrow, but I'm in a class called Building Connections that I just had before we did this show.
Beautiful.
And ahead of the Super Bowl last week, so we talk a lot about diversity and working and maybe having tough conversations in the workplace, things
Yeah.
like that.
Cool.
And we do readings and do notes before every class, and then every Friday we do like a community builder or something. So our community builder ahead of the Super Bowl was to watch the SpongeBob episode where they do the halftime show, and
That's
then
awesome.
relate it to the readings. And if you were ever to okay, maybe I'll get into SpongeBob, I'll watch one episode. watch that episode because
Okay.
I
The
rewatched
Super
it.
Bowl halftime
This
show
is-
episode.
It's called The Bubble
good
Bowl.
Info, good info.
Okay, perfect.
It is. I forget how funny it is. So.
Okay.
But that's
Mental
besides
note.
the point. That's
Mental note.
besides the point. Anyways, we're gonna circle back. We're gonna
Okay.
circle back. All right. So, you both end up choosing Kansas State.
Yep.
Now we're all sitting here today, but we're sitting here today for the SGA. How is it, Lucy? We'll start with you this time. How is it that you got involved with being a legislative advocate?
Yeah. I mean, I'm going to be honest, it's not a super awesome tale. I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory, but I was hanging out with Matt and Brady Kappelman one night, and we were with, a group of people, and they were like, hey, like, there's this really awesome thing that you should apply for, and it's, legislative advocates, and we get to go to the Capitol someday in February, and they're like, we get to hang out on, a random day. And I was like, okay. And then the day the applications close, I had Brady Kappelman text me again. They're like, did you apply? And I was like, I can't say no to him, so I'm just going to go ahead and apply. And so I filled out the application that night. And then, I ended up in it. So honestly, I didn't know much about it. It sounded cool. And also I'm an education major. And so I was like, this might be cool to get to learn more about higher ed and advocate, because I was by far the only person there that was elementary education major. All these people are coming in like, I'm pre-law, I'm did it, and I'm like, I'm elementary ed, but hey,
Has it helped at all your elementary ed process? Like, is there anything that maybe you've learned from being a part of SGA?
I mean, I would say just it's cool to see how higher ed works, because I'm also more interested in, elementary ed and whatever, but to see all the things that go into making education happen is important. And then also I'd love to hopefully move up, besides I would love to be a teacher, and then I'd like to move up into maybe a principal or things like that. And I feel like knowing more about the education world, knowing, what's happening in the education world as far as funding and things like that, I think was really beneficial for me to learn about. So
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Boom. And then you can have those tough conversations about legislation with your elementary students.
Yeah.
Exactly. Let me tell you about legislation, okay?
Yeah,
I know a
and-
thing or two.
And they're like, did you see this new YouTube short?
Right. Just take my knowledge,
Yeah, it's classic YouTube shorts, cappuccino
right.
assassino. We're moving on. That's
Yep.
That's you will have a very important job of showing Gen Alpha a book. that's gonna be a big part of elementary ed here soon. Is
Yeah.
what would I combating Cocoa Melon? It's gonna be the official. It's gonna be the official
Sure,
banner. It's gonna be the
sure.
official banner. So,
Yeah. Got to control it.
Matt, we'll go ahead and turn to you. How did you come to be the external affairs director?
Yeah, it's also not that long of a story, but I guess in high school, I was always involved in our student government. I was class president all 4 years in a super small school, student government president my senior year. And so I was
Whoa.
always involved in student government.
Big deal.
And then I came to K-State, and I was looking to get involved. I lived in farmhouse fraternity with Brady Kappelman, and
Shout out Brady with all the
shout out
shout outs. Come
Brady.
on.
He
Yeah,
genuinely.
I know.
Can you just
he's
be in here with us? Seriously.
he's kind of not to be nerdy. He's the more I hear of everyone mentions that Brady's like, you should come join this. He's like Nick Fury with the Avengers. He's like, I have a job for you.
Yes.
I hear you can turn big and green. I need your help with SGA.
And he knew I was passionate about building community and stuff like that, and so he recommended me to apply for his cabinet, and I applied, I got it, and I've been loving it ever since.
So you were not planning on joining SGA, although you had student government experience in high school.
Yes, my student government experience in high school, it was very, very different than
His
my
graduating
student
class was
government.
11, everyone.
Yeah, and so it was more just hosting events and stuff, not necessarily policies that affected the school.
Sure.
And so,
Yeah, that definitely would be a difference.
Yeah, and so that was kind of where the external affairs director I thought was good for me. I'm listening to what Manhattan's happening, what K-State is happening, and reporting between the two, and so I'm not necessarily writing legislation, but getting to develop that relationship.
You're the intermediary.
That is the perfect word for my job.
There
It's one of
you
my
go.
favorite words.
Yeah.
I just think it's fun to say. Intermediary. That's
I like
the,
that.
I love it.
I like
That's
that.
that's the word of the day.
Putting that in the pocket.
Right, I'm putting that in the pocket. We're saving it for later.
Yep.
So you have worked in multiple student governments, Matt. Do you ever It seems to just keep on finding you. Do you ever I guess have kind of a calling towards it? Does it ever whisper and it's like working on legislation?
So this is kind of funny because like people my whole life have been telling me like we need people to be legislators, and I don't know why. I don't understand it, but during interviews people tell me all the time, and I'm definitely interested in it, and I really like it. But I think ultimately where my passion comes is I'm from a super small town in northwest Kansas and a rural area, and what I'm passionate about is like building up and making and maintaining rural areas. And so working at like community foundations, that's really where I want to do. And so yeah, if I could advocate for those rural areas and be a legislator, that would be awesome. Or work in government for someone who is, I would definitely be interested.
Is that your current major?
My current major is agricultural economics pre-law. So
yeah, that would actually absolutely be perfect for it.
Right.
Yep. So
once again, go into the
resume builders. You know, he's gonna have an awesome resume.
Your resume is gonna be like 3 pages long.
No.
No.
I did. Yeah, I love working on my resume though.
Yeah.
I have like a lot of renditions of it.
Maybe
mine.
I might need you to help me with mine. I'm so bad with resumes, guys. It's just.
I just went to a workshop, so
really,
I got you.
So he's your guy.
I think it kind of scares me. I think there's part of me that's like, let me put off the future.
Sure.
Yeah, as a senior, that's extremely valid.
I can do that tomorrow, and then it's like, oh, it's tomorrow.
And what job am I getting? I don't know.
I have to pay.
Right.
Oh.
Right.
Yeah.
Interesting. Oh, so what's this rent?
Right. How can I go back?
Right. Yeah. No. No, but that's super cool. Getting into SGA, and do you guys? This is something I've mentioned multiple times to people who work in SGA, because it is a very, you're serving a lot of people, and you're in kind of a leadership position. Have you ever felt that, I guess, call to serve before, or can you remember the moment?
I don't think there's like a specific moment, but I know since I've been little, I've always enjoyed and like ultimately like been the most fulfilled when I'm serving others and able to help other people. And so I don't think there's like a definitive moment, but I've enjoyed doing it my whole life, and hopefully I can continue doing that through the rest of my life and career. So
that's a good answer. I mean, I would ditto everything that he said, and I also feel like growing up, there's so many moments, like I can't remember a specific moment that I was like, oh, I want to be of service to people, but I feel like that's just kind of how I was raised too, of like we help other people, and I also feel like my mindset a lot growing up and like being in college, and I had an awesome high school experience. I was super involved in all kinds of leadership things and whatnot too. And I feel like my perspective was also like people have done so well at serving me, and like I have had awesome people who have taken care of me and have been a leader to me and been a mentor. And so it's like I want to be able to give that back, Or I think of K-State, and it's like K-State's given me so much. Like I've loved my time here. I feel so thankful that I get to be here. And so it's like, why would I not go out and do what I can to also give back, because I feel like K-State's given me so much, if that makes sense. But
exactly, super well said.
Yeah,
perfect.
Thanks.
I get it. The more, like, because I always think it's important to give to the university in terms of time and effort, because it is a mini city in a lot of ways. It's a little community.
Yeah.
There are 20,000 of us within like 15 minutes of each other, guys. This is like there's a lot of people
it's
here.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I love it.
And it's a great time, all right? Life's a party.
It's like going to Walmart. All right, who am I going to see?
That's right. I go to Walmart and see 5 people. But I wear headphones when I go to Walmart.
You're locked in,
I'm
you got stuff to take care of.
I'm locked in. I also just love listening to things, and maybe that's why I work in
like
audio.
Music or like podcasts?
It depends on the day, but
Okay,
sometimes it's the new Don Toliver album. Other times it is a YouTube video about literacy. The land, you know what I mean?
Okay.
That's awesome.
It changes every day, but no, that's what's fun about Manhattan, is that you constantly see people around and stuff.
Yeah.
But it's fun to be able to, kind of work in that community, because the more that you get involved, like me getting involved with the radio station, then I meet people, then I see more people out that I know when I'm maybe at the rec or something, and then all of a sudden it's like, whoa, we're friends now, or we're roommates, or we're this.
The connections
or
that. are just so worth it.
And this is a big thing. I'll ask this question: what do you feel like is more important in college, the actual studying, or the networking, or I guess the friends you make along the way?
Easiest answer. Yeah.
Friends you make along the way.
Come on.
Definitely.
Yep.
I think I've been super blessed with the relationships that I've been able to build here at K-State, especially within like my fraternity and how I've gotten involved through that. And so yeah, I have my lifelong friends, and I'm super grateful for K-State for bringing me those people.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I agree. And also, this is kind of funny, but I always have people, because, I get involved in things like legislative advocates and, whatever it may be. And people ask me, like, why do you do this if you're an elementary ed major and teachers are needed everywhere? You can be a teacher anywhere, and your resume probably doesn't matter that much. Not that it's not important, but, it doesn't have to have all these credentials and things like that to get a teaching job. And I always say, well, it's 100% worth it. I'm not doing it for the resume. I'm doing it because the people I've met along the way, like everything that I've been involved in, I've been so thankful for the connections. And so that has 100% made it worth it for me, even if, it may just be the friendships that I made through being involved in this organization or whatever. I may not take much more out of it, but like that's enough for me,
Right. Exactly. And that's here's a challenge to everybody. Don't say no to things. Don't say
yes to everything.
Just say yes.
Seriously.
You know what I mean?
You never know.
If Brady
You never know. You could be
Kappelman-
going to the Capitol, with Brady and Matt.
If you don't know enough about SGA or legislation, but Brady Kappelman asks you
That
to
was
get
me.
involved,
That's
just
exactly,
do
that was
it.
exactly
Just do
me.
it.
I kept being like,
Yeah.
what? I don't honestly know what I'm doing here because I don't know much about SGA, but it doesn't matter,
Yeah, and
And I
sometimes
learned.
you need to, because sometimes you
Yep.
learn, and then all of a sudden it's like, whoa, now I'm in this group chat, and there's a bunch of people, and we're hanging out, we're talking.
Sure.
And then it's
yeah.
like, oh, cool,
Yeah.
Topeka, here we come. you
Yeah,
know, and then
yeah,
you're making friends at KU, at Washburn, at Wichita State,
Yeah.
and that just means that much more. So.
Right.
Yeah.
And I also feel like with like K-State, it feels small sometimes to us, but also like at the end of the day, it is a massive, it's a big university. And sometimes the best way that you can get the most out of your college experience is getting involved, and when a place that feels so big, it suddenly gets so small when you start to get involved and when you start to meet people and sign
It
up for
really
random
does.
organizations and things like that. And so that
Yeah.
is what I always tell people, like the more you can get involved in the people you can meet, the better off you are for sure.
Definitely.
Boom, there it is. More people you meet, the more people
Drop a bar, come on.
I'm trying to drop a bar here. Hold on. The more people you meet, the more opportunities you greet. That's the motto
There we
today.
go.
That's the
We're
motto
so
today.
good at rhyming.
Yeah,
There
I
we
know.
go.
I need some
impressive.
In the
Off
words
the
of Super Hot
dome.
Fire, but I'm not a rapper. When we return, we're wrapping up the SGA Weekly Update, hanging out with Lucy Ryan, Matt Hendricks. All of that and more is coming up on the SGA Weekly Update. You're listening to Wildcat 91.9. You belong.
This winter, the fastest game on ice takes the world stage, and every Friday night, Athletics takes on the Olympics. From end-to-end rushes to highlight reel saves, from underdog upsets to international showdowns, join me, Soren Sablon, from 6 to 7 p.m. for analysis, updates, and all the intensity that only Olympic hockey delivers. This February, Athletics brings you the Winter Olympics hockey style.
Sports fans, your listening ears just found a new home on Thursdays. Join me, Nate Lowen, for The Dub, your 1-hour sports talk show where hot takes, bold predictions, and real conversations happen. From the biggest games to the week's wildest headlines, I'll bring you the energy you need. Don't miss The Dub every Thursday from 6 to 7 p.m., only on Wildcat 91.9, where you belong.
Ready to spark your curiosity and explore arts and culture? The Mariana Kistler Beach Museum of Art at Kansas State University offers vibrant exhibitions, fun events, and programs. The museum provides amazing guided tours showing breathtaking art in memorable galleries. From welcoming preschoolers to seniors, this cultural hub is recognized for its dedication to providing a deep exploration of Kansas art and history. Whether you're part of the K-State community or visiting Manhattan, there's something for everyone. Best of all, admission and parking are free. Learn more about the Beach Museum of Art at beach.k-state.edu. And thank you, Mariana Kistler Beach Museum of Art, for supporting the future of the next generation of media superstars here at Wildcat 91.9. You belong.
This basketball season, Wildcat 91.9 invites you to experience the action of Tanner's Bar and Grill in the Ville. Savor Manhattan's favorite dishes from the full menu served fresh day and night. And with Tanner's Kitchen open until 10 p.m., there's no shot clock, so you'll have plenty of time to enjoy every bite. whether it's halftime or overtime. Learn more at tannersbarandgrill.com. Once again, that's tannersbarandgrill.com. And thank you to Tanners for supporting the next generation of K-State media stars on Wildcat 91.9. You belong.
Wildcat fans, for too long, the powers that be have given you sports media that you do not deserve. Terrible takes, sports realignment, and pointless bickering have tried to ruin the sports world that we love. But through that noise, there is hope, an answer. There is the propaganda.
Wednesdays from 6 to 7, join Jimmy Kaufman, Adam Arthur, and Nate Lowen as they tell the truth about sports, stats, and storylines around the college world. Only on Wildcat 91.9, where you belong.
Wrapping up on the SGA Weekly update on Wildcat 91.9, you belong. Jimmy Kaufman here, hanging out on a beautiful Wednesday afternoon in a foam-padded room. No straitjacket here, though, but we're going crazy. I'm hanging out with a legislative advocate, Lucy Roy, as well as the External Affairs Director, Matt Hendricks. Guys, it's been an hour of just fun conversation, good times. We've learned a lot about you, too. And it's been a very fun time. I appreciate you joining me.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
We've had a great time.
I'm so glad you guys enjoyed it. It's never a dull moment here at the stations of Wildcat 91.9.
I'm sure not.
But before we go, I do need to ask a question that's going to be pretty serious. I need us to all buckle down.
All right.
This is a controversial topic for some, so a little bit of a warning here that we will be delving into some sensitive topics. But what was the best Super Bowl commercial that happened this past week at the Super Bowl? I know this can get really serious, so if it's too much, you can turn off your radio for a couple minutes. We'll be back.
Right.
But go ahead. I'll throw my hat in the ring first. Okay. The Sabrina Carpenter Pringles ad was great. That one was really entertaining to me because it was just a funny idea. And then they all tackle the Pringles guy, and then they all start eating it, and I thought that was funny. So that was a good one.
Personally, for me, it was the Budweiser ad where it was like the horse with the wings, and then it was like a bald eagle on its back.
Yes, the Budweiser. Yes, that one was so tough.
It made me feel so patriotic, and I was so excited and ramped up.
For me, it was USA, the moment because they
had patriotism.
They had the cute part of like the bird kind of like on the back, but then it fell off, and I was like, oh my gosh, it was a little bit like
it was like
I felt really bad.
I did feel bad during that part.
But the horse jumping in the wings,
it was so
that was
cool.
tough. That was awesome. Cool. As a guy who's a fan of that part in Avengers Endgame where they bring the Pegasus in or whatever, that was pretty cool. Lucy, what about you?
You guys are going to flame me, okay? I don't think I could recall one Super Bowl.
Really? Not a Super
I'm so sorry.
Okay.
I watched it. I really did, but I clearly wasn't. I just wasn't paying attention. There was a lot going on.
And that is fair. And the game between was pretty easy to tune out the game because
correct.
Kind of a snooze fest.
I'll be honest.
Congrats to the Seahawks, but you pitched
Shout
a snooze
out,
fest. I will say, some of these ads, man. What are we? The Coinbase one killed me. I could not do the Coinbase with the Backstreet Boys. First of all, just stole the Charlie XCX like brat, like the brat like lettering and stuff. It was just like a karaoke
kind of
screen.
Interesting.
Well, it was a karaoke screen of like the song, and I was like, yeah, I love this song. And at the end, it just said Coinbase. I was like, oh, brother. Oh, boy. And then there was a sports betting, and then there was an AI, and then there was another one about AI, and then there was a Svedka ad with AI in it, and I was like, all right. And then there was like the Pepsi ad was good.
The Pepsi ad was good.
With the polar bear. It was the polar bear who like, the Coke polar bear like had a dream about Pepsi or something, and then like it totally was distraught, and it was like
spiraled into depression.
Yeah, it was like I have to be Coke, but I have a secret love for Pepsi, and it was like the bear was sitting on like a therapist couch and stuff. That one was good. I enjoyed that one a lot.
Coke any day, I'll say it. Sorry.
No, of course. Are you kidding me? Oh my gosh. Yeah,
easy.
Easily.
Are you Pepsi over Coke?
What about Dr. Pepper?
Well, Dr. Pepper number one, of course.
Yeah, okay.
But if it's between Coke and Pepsi, it's
I would
absolutely
agree
Coke.
it has to be Coke over Pepsi.
And probably Diet Coke. I don't think I could tell you last time I drank a regular.
Honestly, same, because I gotta be honest. Every like regular cola back in the day used to be my favorite. I used to love. I had a
from
Pepsi
like
phase.
the glass bottle or whatever.
Oh well, anything. I was like, I just like it. From the fountain, from a can, from a bottle, from a glass bottle, whatever. But the more I grow up, the more I kind of want the soda to bite me. You know what I mean? And that's what Diet Coke does. It has like the
Yeah,
aspartame
yeah.
in it, and I like that it
Sure.
it fights back a little bit.
Yeah.
It gives a swift uppercut
Yeah,
when
yeah.
I drink it.
I totally agree with that.
And I appreciate that a lot. So I have become a Diet Coke guy through and through, which I don't know
Okay.
how healthy that is. But on the Dr. Pepper front, I don't really consider that a cola. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's why I didn't
okay,
bring that
okay,
up. That's
that
why I didn't
makes
bring that
sense,
up.
that
Because
makes sense,
it would
yeah.
be Dr. Pepper for me any
Right.
day.
Isn't it like
100%.
Dr. Pepper was like engineered to be like the perfect soda?
Really?
It actually has, you said?
Or I thought that was like the thing is like it was
Oh.
I
engineered to
believe
be the
that.
quintessential
because
soda.
I love
'Cause
it.
it is
It
the
is the
perfect
best ever.
soda,
I'll say
so-
it.
I mean, I can't hate on that. I can't hate on that. It was
Yep.
the Super Bowl commercials may have been a little bit forgettable, but this was an
Whoopsies.
unforgettable episode of the SGA.
Wow.
Lucy, Matt, it's been a great time. Before we go, any last things you want to shout out about SGA events and also ways people can get involved?
Yeah, like I said, elections are coming up. Talk to people.
Vote.
Get to know them.
Yeah,
Vote in
yeah.
the elections.
Your voice
That's
matters,
extremely
seriously, guys.
important. So, yeah, that's all I've got.
100%. Lucy, anything from you?
I would just say get outside your comfort zone. Get involved in
Mhm.
something that maybe you don't have a lot of experience in. That was me, and I'm so glad that I did. So get involved, meet people, and get outside of your comfort zone.
And remember the
That's what I would
motto, the more people you meet, the more opportunities you greet. This-
Exactly.
And this was a great
Exactly.
opportunity to
Jamie
greet
gets it.
here this Wednesday. Matt Hendricks, Lucy Roy, thank you so much for joining me on another episode of the SGA Weekly Update.
Come
Make sure,
on.
thank you for listening, but make sure you don't go anywhere as coming up at the 5 p.m. hour, I will be coming back on air, talking a little bit about sports, and then I have a special episode with my co-host of The Propaganda, Adam Arthur, also baseball player. He left on the road this morning to head to Arizona for the MLB Desert Invitational with K-State Baseball. But I had the pleasure of sitting down with K-State Baseball's Dante Lewis and James Guyette, along with Adam Arthur, to get a little preview of the season, the locker room, and a little bit of what to get excited for as the team is looking to head back to the playoffs once again. That's coming up in the 5 o'clock hour. And then 6 p.m. tonight, another episode of my sports show, The Propaganda, sitting down with Soren Zablon. And then we've got K-State versus Cincinnati basketball later. So it's going to be so much K-State sports. It's going to be flying out of our ears. It's going to be fun. Hopefully it flies into yours. But for now, from Matt Hendricks, from Lucy Roy, and from my Jimmy Kaufman, we say thank you for listening to another episode of the SGA Weekly Update. And we'll be back next week with another wacky cast of characters to talk about SGA. But for now, we'll see you later. You're listening to Wildcat 91.9. You belong.